Hi, Andy Evans here. Welcome to part 27 of making a guitar in your garage. It's definitely part 27. I keep getting the numbers mixed up, but I'm pretty sure we'll go for that, 27. Okay, so the last podcast I was carving a neck. I've had a think about it actually. I'm going to make a jig for carving guitar necks with a basic router, a 13mm router bit, 1/2 inch if you're American. From the top in like a box, a U-shaped type box, and it's going to do two necks at once. I was looking at different jigs on the internet last night, and there's radius type things you can get. My router won't fit a 25mm radius in it to do the edges of the neck, the contour of the neck. So I'm gonna make a jig. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to do two necks at once with a plunge router with a 13mm straight router bit in it. We're in about 10 minutes. My cat's here again. Sorry about that. Okay, this is another guitar that I have on the go. It's another prototype. Got a bit of a strange headstock going on. I'm going to do a semi-acoustic body for this. I'm going to sort of base it on a Les Paul basically, a bit bigger than a Les Paul. So stay tuned for that one. That's something I'm just thinking about at the moment. I'll be making a jig and a template for the semi-acoustic body. Okay, so that's that. On the white guitar, I put some holes. I drilled some holes for the bridge. You can see them here. The way to get that measurement so they're in the exact place, you measure from the inside of your nut to the middle of the 12th fret, and then you double that exactly. That measurement should be doubled to the middle of the bridge here and the middle of the saddle. And that, I think I'm doing a Gibson long scale 24th fret. I think it's 644 millimeters. Let me just check. Yeah, 644.5 millimeters, which is, if you're American, it's 25 inches and 3/8. So that measurement, if you measure from the inside of your nut to the middle of the 12th fret here, then double that exactly, that should go to the middle of your saddle at the middle of your guitar. And that measurement should be the same as the scale length, 644.5 or 25 inches, 0.38, which it is. Okay, so that's all ready for a bridge now. I used a 10mm countersink, and I re-drilled these holes out here for the tuners. It's going to be shallow tuners, I think. So this has had another coat of white on. I just need to lacquer it now. I need to put the dots in the side. I still haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that very shortly. Little marker dots here. And it's going to get a light sand, lots of coats of lacquer, and then it'll be ready to polish, you know. So that's that on the way. Okay, I'm going to talk briefly about keeping guitars in tune. A friend of mine asked me recently, he said his son's classic old guitar keeps going out of tune, and it's one of these cheap Chinese things, you know. So I mean, they do go out of tune. The first thing I said to him, have you got enough wraps around your tuners? You know, make sure there's enough wraps around the tuners. Pull them, give them a pull, the strings. Normally, if we're talking about electric guitars, let's go to electrics. If you're going to put a new set of strings on, first thing you do is pull them. Give them a good pull. Always tune up to a note. Give them another pull. Play them a while. New strings always stretch and settle in. You've always also got to make sure you've got enough wraps on your machine heads. The thicker strings, less wraps. The thinner strings, more wraps. Normally on an E string you'd have 2.5 wraps, A string 3 wraps, so on and so forth. Progressively getting more wraps, you know. When you get to your B string, you probably want about 5 wraps, you know, and your thin E string 6 reps. Okay, another thing you can do to keep guitars in tune, where the wrap is around the barrel of the strings, when you get a new set of strings, you can pull them all first, pull them out, and then solder that wrap around the barrel. Not many people do that, but they actually slip quite a lot there. They tighten up and they move a bit and they move a bit. So you put some solder like degreasant on and give them a quick solder. That's another thing to do. Always make sure your nut is in good condition. You can always put a bit of grease or graphite in there. If you're using a tremolo and you've got string trees, it's like a Fender type guitar, they're notorious for going out of tune. It traps them, you know. So you either need to put a different type of a locking nut on, or you can use a better string tree, you know, some type of roller system or something. Like a leaning back, a sloping back headstock is probably better if it's at the right angle, with locking tuners, graphite nut and a tremolo for stability. So yeah, just keeping your guitar in tune, that's the main things to look out for, I've just said. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my neck carving jig that I'm going to do. It's going to have, you're going to put 2 necks basically, fingerboard to fingerboard in a U-shaped channel plywood. There's going to be a thin piece of plywood in between the fingerboards, which is fastened at both ends with some threaded bar through a hole at both ends, and then you're going to have a rotating handle on there, or I might put a drill on it, I'm not quite sure. So that's going to rotate, and then I'm going to have a hinged top to it with 2 hinges, so it's adjustable, and your router is going to go in from the top at an angle like this. So as this turns, the threaded bar with the 2 guitar necks in, as it turns, you plunge right down with your guiding at an angle, take a bit off, start again, and because it's hinged at the top, you can slowly lower it down, take another couple of mil off, like that, and eventually you'll have 2 perfect carved necks. It's also going to be adjustable. I'm going to make the hinges adjustable so it can move this way, so you can vary the thickness of the neck at the nut and at the 12th fret. So it's going to be quite a good little jig. I'll probably cut the excess off on the bandsaw, just so it speeds the routing process up. But stay tuned for that. I'll do that in the next couple of weeks, make one of those and film it. Okay, short and sweet today. Thanks for watching. Press the subscribe button if you like what you see, and eventually I'll get rid of these air conditioning units. I suppose you've been wondering what they are. They've been here about 4 years. They're not mine, but I need to move them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.